I'm Helen and welcome to this class. This is a beginner level de-stress yoga class, perfect if you've had a hard day at work. All you will need is a blanket. If you do have yoga blocks, they may come in handy, but they're not necessary. And I will see you on the mat. We'll start today's class in one of my favorite positions, which is supported fish pose. Grab your blanket and roll it up into a burrito. If you do have a yoga bolster, you can use that. I don't have any bolsters here. I sold all of my bolsters when I left the UK, but a burrito blanket is perfectly fine. Place it lengthways on the mat, right at the base of your spine, and then as you exhale, release down over it, so it's down all the length of the spine. Your head should be supported by the end, on the end of it. You can release the legs out long or bring the feet together in butterfly. Palms are open to the sky. Allow the arms to just rest on the floor. Close the windows of the eyes. Turn the arrows of attention into your inner landscape and surrender here. Sometimes it can be hard to carve out even 10 or 15 minutes after work for a little bit of self-care. Especially if you've had a stressful day. Sometimes we have unhealthy coping mechanism that we turn to, like food. I was definitely a stress eater back in the day. Loved something sugary, or even some of us may turn to alcohol. I was a bit partial to a cocktail can. But there are healthy ways to cope with stress and decompress, and your yoga mat is one of them. So send a silent thank you to yourself for getting out of those work clothes, pulling on something comfy, rolling out your mat. You're having the intention to do something good for your body, your heart, and your mind. So whatever day you've had, just let it go. Maybe you worked night, you worked a long shift, and you feel pretty flaked out. A yoga class like this is really the icing on the cake to help you completely relax, restore your nervous system, get out of that sympathetic fight or flight activating system that we so often exist in, which is incredibly tiring. You can lead to burnout. It allows our body to just enter the parasympathetic tone, rest and digest, eat and breathe, the part of our autonomic nervous system that allows deep healing rest. Maybe you can bring your awareness to the parts of your body that are in contact with the earth. The sit bones, backs of the arms. Maybe the outer ankles if you're in butterfly. Or the calves and the heels of the feet if your legs extended long. Long deep breath. Lengthen that exhale. A long exhale is a ticket to the parasympathetic tone. One more breath or so here. If your legs are in butterfly, bring the hands to the outer thighs and use the strength of the hands. Just push the legs together. Rolling off gently onto one side. Removing your burrito from out of the way, and then returning back to lying on the spine. Bring the knees in one by one into the chest. Hold around the shins, pulling the knees close to the body, so in deep, deep flexion of the hip here, trying to elongate the spine along the mat. Shoulders are relaxed. Eyes can still be closed. Keeping the right knee into the chest, very slowly extend the left leg long on the mat. Take the left hand on the outside of the right knee. Right arm comes out to the side like in a cactus, directly out from the shoulder. As you exhale, slowly pull over the right knee to the left side for a supine twist. Lift the head off the floor, rotate it mid-air, and then allow the head to come down so you're looking towards the right shoulder. This left knee may be floating in the air, that's perfectly okay. Trying to keep both shoulders glued on the earth. Letting gravity help you here. Long breath. When we're really stressed at work, we feel a lot of it in the emotional triangle, which is the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. We also feel it in the hips as well. So a reclined twist is a great antidote to a tough day at work. Inhale and come back to the midline, bringing both knees into the chest for another little squeeze. This time, keeping the left knee in, release the right leg long, on the mat. Grab the outside of the left knee with the right hand. Left arm comes out directly from the shoulder. It can be straight or in cactus. And then as you exhale, releasing the body over to the right side. Both shoulders are on the floor. Lift the head up and then turn it towards the left side in mid-air and slowly rest the head down. Breathe here. You can have the eyes closed, of course. I'm pretty sure I read that closing the eyes conserves around 40% of our brain energy because it takes a lot of power to fuel the optic nerve and the processing of all the visual images that enters our brains. You may notice sometimes when you're struggling to think of something, you close the eyes, and that really helps you being able to focus on what it is you're trying to articulate or remember. Inhale, come back gently to the midline. Bringing both knees in again into the chest. Giving a squeeze. Holding onto the tops of the knees so they're in each respective hand, and allow the knees to fall away from the body. Your hands are supporting the weight of the knees, holding onto the kneecaps. The femur bones are descending into the hips. The back is neutral. And just letting go here of the legs, letting the hands support them. No contraction in the hip flexors. Moving through a few knee circles, circling the knees over to one side, using the hands to maneuver them. 5 in one direction. Nice and slow, no rush. And when you've done 5 in one direction, we'll do 5 in the other. Often when you have been activated all day, tense, stress, It's really difficult to slow down and do these mindful practices, but there's just a time when we need them the most. If you do find it challenging to move slowly, that is perfectly normal. Gently release both feet down to the earth. Knees stacked over the ankles, so your knees are pointing up to the sky. We'll come into a few dynamic bridges, reaching down with the fingertips. Just see if you can touch the backs of the heels. This is an indication they're in the right place. On an inhale, hips will lift, arms will come up to the sky, over the head. And then exhale, slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. So the seat comes down last. And repeat. Inhale, lifting the pelvis up, articulating the spine from the base all the way up to the thoracic. Arms overhead. And then exhale, one vertebra at a time, slowly coming down. Sacrum comes down last. 3 more of these. Inhaling, lift. Opening the front body here, which is great if you've been sitting at a desk all day. And exhale, release. We do so much crunching forward. So as our hip flexors are constantly engaged. So it's so good to do this kind of movement to release them at the end of the day. And release down. We'll make our way up onto the seat. I like to do it rolling like a ball, bringing the knees into the chest, using the strength of the core to do a couple of rolls, and then when you're ready, come all the way up to seated. Releasing the legs straight in front of you, pulling the flesh of the buttocks back, lengthening out of the spine. If this is a bit tough for you to sit like this, you can always sit on your burrito, and that makes it a lot more accessible for the hamstrings and the lower back. Whatever is good in your body. Come into a hip opening forward fold, Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose, bringing the right knee close into the body, lengthening the spine and allowing it to fall out to the side so the sole of the foot comes to the left inner thigh. If your leg is very suspended up, remember your handy burrito, you can put it underneath. Inhale the arms up to the sky and then exhale, forward fold over this front leg. The goal here is to keep the spine as straight as possible. So if that means only coming forward a little bit, that's perfectly fine. And then you can slowly round over when you've reached the end of your range of motion with a straight spine. If you have blocks, you can use them to pad yourself up and give you something to release into. Remember, this class is all about relaxation. It's not about challenging our bodies and pushing them. It's about restoration and healing after a long day at work. Maybe every time you exhale, you can think of something you want to let go of. Too often we take things home with us from the workplace and they interfere in our private time, in our private lives. And then we find we're back there again the next day and we're doing it all again. So having something like a yoga practice that allows you to just do something for you, to detach from those external distractions, can be so beneficial to the body and the mind. Remember, we hold our issues in our tissue. So when you're feeling tension in your neck and your jaw and your shoulders, or even in the hip area, that's your body showing that you're holding on to something. But when we learn to relax and let go, and have practices that help us release in these areas, you can start to lead a much healthier life, letting go of stress. Then inhale, slowly come up. We'll move on to the other side. Bring this leg back into the midline, gently release. Maybe shaking out the legs in the hip socket. We'll move on to the second side. Bringing the left knee into the chest, grabbing around the shin, tall out of the way, allowing it to fall open. Sole of the foot comes to the inner thigh. Inhaling out of the waist, tall spine, arms come up. And then exhale, tipping forward from the hip crease as far as possible with the spine straight. When you can't go anymore, descend over the leg. Remember, you can always get your burrito or other accoutrements to help you. And relax. When the body feels the support of things like props, it signals to the brain that it's safe to release. And you can often get maybe a little bit more deeper than if you were really straining to get into the position. The goal here is relief. You may be feeling it in that left outer thigh. I know I am. Long, deep breaths. As you exhale, letting go of something that may have happened. Sometimes in the workplace we get so wound up about things, not just the work, but colleagues can be a big source of stress. Then I heard this phrase and it said, it's not going to matter in 5 years, and don't spend 5 minutes worrying about it. And I can say that's pretty true. Some of the things that used to antagonize me at work, I don't even know why I let them bother me, because 5 years later, when I'm living in the jungle in Costa Rica, it really doesn't matter. None of it. And inhale, slowly come up. Releasing this leg. Maybe shaking out both thighs. Yeah, we'll move into a full-seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. We'll start with the hands behind the head, coming into it in a slightly different way to normal. Lengthening the spine and curling the upper body down as far as it will go before you fold the spine in. When you can't fold down anymore, chin to chest, inhale, swoop forward, out of the way, and then descend. So again, you may have the burrito to support you. And you can build a little tower for the head. Hands can go anywhere that feels good. You don't have to grab onto the feet. And just surrender down here. Lengthen in that exhale. Maybe you can even say silently to yourself as you inhale, I inhale peace. I exhale stress. I inhale serenity. I exhale tension. I inhale calm. I exhale worry. And then when you're ready, slowly straighten the spine. Use the strength of the hands to come up. Nice and gently. Should feel pretty chill by now. And we'll relax back into Savasana. One great way to do this is to take your burrito and put it behind the backs of the knees, slowly releasing down. So when you have it behind the knees, it really helps if you have any lower back issues. It just makes the posture feel a lot more comfortable. Palms are up to the sky with the fingertips curling towards the heart. Eyes are closed. Chin is slightly tucked with the back of the neck long. Every part of the body is relaxed. Deep, even breathe. Letting go. Surrendering. Savasana. Bring your awareness to something that happened today that might stress you out and you know is not going to matter in 5 years' time. Whatever it is, mentally write it down on a piece of paper. Fold up the piece of paper in your mind. Place it into an envelope. Seal the envelope. Put a stamp on the envelope. And write on the front, to the other side of the world. And take this letter and post it in a postbox. Now you don't have to think about it again. It's gone. Start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Bring in some movement back. Gently rock the thigh bones in the hip socket. Stretch the arms overhead. And the toes in the opposite direction. Full body stretch. One by one, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. When it feels good for you, roll over onto your favorite side into the fetal position. Take a moment to pause. With the eyes still closed, gently push up to a comfortable seat. Bring in the palms to the chest, thumbs into the sternum. Feel your heartbeat. Thank you for joining me for this short de-stress practice today. I hope you feel pretty chill now, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. If you're interested, I do have a menopause toolkit, and in it, there is a wonderful yoga nidra practice which brings about the most blissful night's sleep. It really takes us to that place between waking and sleep and allows such deep healing rest in our body. You would just float through the night. There's also a beautiful guided visualization in there for serenity. So these two are perfect things to listen to if you've had a tough day at work and you just need to sail away to a different place. I'll put the link under this video for the toolkit, and thank you again for practicing with me. I truly appreciate everyone that joins me for my classes, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.